Finally tonight, school districts that have been sued by the state for fighting a policy known as 5756 that covers transgender rights had their day in court. Attorneys for the school boards presented oral arguments today against the state attorney general's office in their effort to repeal the policy that prevents district staff from notifying parents if a student identifies as transgender in school. As Raven Santana reports, the hours-long arguments were a highly anticipated moment of the parental rights debate.
Why is it that we have to consent or allow our children to be taught things which are against our moral or religious beliefs? That's not acceptable.
Hanover Township resident and former board member Barbara Ames is one of a group of supporters that showed up to a hearing at the Essex County Veterans Courthouse in Newark to support her district ditching policy 5756, which protects the rights of transgender students.
We're not teaching children. This is not about math. It's not about learning to read. It is indoctrination. It's about what to think and what to think about your God-given body, that you could be born in the wrong body.
3 judges heard the oral arguments from attorneys of 4 different districts: Hanover Township, Middletown, Manalapan, Englishtown, and Marlborough, who were sued by the state last year after amending policy 5756 to require parents be notified by staff when their children requested, among other things, to be called by new pronouns, be identified differently, or change their names.
The underlying legal issue here is parental notification, but when it impacts a student record, a formal mandated student record that we are required to keep, then that triggers parental notification. And again, we only allow that for some reason here with transgender students.
I don't think we can function as a school district in this state if the student, by the way, our district is K through 8. So we're dealing with students who, under this policy, would be 7 years old, 8 years old, 9 years old, and still have the last word as to whether you tell my parents or not about it. And that's the problem. And that's the issue that we really think needs to be addressed as part of this initial injunction.
Attorneys from those school districts faced off against the New Jersey Attorney General's office after Attorney General Matt Platkin filed a civil rights complaint against the districts, arguing their policy amendment violated the state's law against discrimination. His office is fighting to prevent the policies from being modified until administrative proceedings take place before the New Jersey Division on Civil Rights. They argue that these policies could protect transgender students who do not feel safe being outed to their parents or even at school.
If the state had an affirmative duty to notify, that would be the state would, by constitutional fiat, be mandated to butt into the family relationship, deprive the student of the autonomy of their decision about whether to come out to parents, when to come out to parents, and how, right? It also, I mean, we're assuming that parents want this, but parents may not want the state to be coming in and having these conversations. They may want to tackle these issues on their own terms, and the constitutional requirement would frustrate that as well.
This policy actually incorporates and say that any sort of disclosures must be made. The thing about the original policies that I just don't want to get lost here is they are quite flexible. It's a student-centered approach, and it also requires the school to inform the student of the risk of inadvertent disclosure. There's no promise here that this information will not make it out to the parents, especially if the student is very publicly transitioning and, for example, joining a sports team or a club that is publicly visible.
There are over 600 plus school districts in the state of New Jersey, and only a handful have tried reversing these policies. So what we know is that every day that these policies exist in hundreds of New Jersey school districts, everything is okay. The world is not on fire.
There was no ruling or decision made at the completion of the oral arguments, but the judges did say they will issue a written opinion, quote, in due course. For NJ Spotlight News, I'm Raven Santana.